Hey guys, it's Christian, and I'm going to show you how to set up your blog. But before I do that, I should probably tell you that Osmosis Labs is part of a promotion that's going on for limited time. It is actually doing this for free for anybody who asks. The idea here is we want to make connections, we want to give something back to the blogging community, which has been so good to us, and we just want to get to know new people, especially people who are blogging in interesting niches and everything. If you want to have your blog set up by us, we'll get the technical bit out of the way for you so you can focus on what really matters. If that's something that you want to do, click on the link below. You just have to fill in your name and your email address and we'll get into contact with you for the additional information. If you're the kind of person who wants to get your hands dirty and really get into it yourself, that's totally fine. Just follow this guide. It will walk you step by step how to set up your blog. Now, if that's more for you, doing it yourself, we still really love it if you got into contact with us because we love making connections and we love getting to know different people in different niches, especially if you're local. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing that you need is a domain name. Most people already know that, but for anybody who doesn't, that is just your URL. That's this right here, youtube.com. Yours is going to be yourname.com or whatever you want. Eatlikepotatoes123.com, whatever you like. I usually use Google domains. I think that it's not the cheapest, but they're all about the same. It's about $12 per year, and I think that Google Domains just has the best kind of customer interaction. So basically, all you're going to do is you're going to search domains. You're going to go mydomainname.com and search for it. Obviously, mydomainname.com is not available, but mydomainname.business is. You just go ahead and add it to your cart, proceed to checkout, and you buy it. I'm not actually going to buy that domain name. These are all the domain names that I do have here. I have other domain names with other registrars. You can use any registrar for this, but Google Domains is the best in my opinion. GoDaddy is a good one. They're, slightly cheaper. I don't remember how much they cost, but they're a bit more complicated. The customer service isn't as good, and so I prefer to use Google Domains. But it should be noted that this is only available to Americans, as far as I know. The next thing you need to do is pick a content management system. This is the back end of where you're going to add your content and design your website. On all of my websites, I use WordPress. I think it's just the best, the easiest. It's the ones that I know the most, and it powers something like 29% of the internet. So there's a lot of software out there for it. There's a lot of information. It's very customizable. There are other content management systems that bloggers use. Wix is a good example of one. I don't like Wix because while it might be easier to set up at first, it's harder to customize over time when you grow. And so I pick WordPress because it's just, you can change it as you go. And there are lots of themes for WordPress to make it look exactly like you want anyway. It's just better in that respect. The next thing that you're going to need is a host. There are a lot of different hosts out there, some cheap, some not so cheap. GoDaddy is like the big one that comes to mind. There's HostGator and Bluehost as well. Those are kind of the really cheap options. And while there's nothing necessarily wrong with going with the cheap options, I'm just not a big fan, especially of GoDaddy, who's probably the biggest one. The problem with GoDaddy is their customer service the representatives don't know a whole lot, so I have had some problems in the past where GoDaddy would tell me, your site is gone, and it would just be deleted. But then I figured out how to get it back, and you have to get through the different layers of customer service in order to get someone who knows what they're talking about. And their whole system is just a bit more complicated, so it makes it harder. And they have these weird upsells where you don't really know exactly how much you're going to be charged, so it does make it a bit more complicated. Bluehost is a better one, but still, I would have problems where my site would slow down with as few as 1 or 2 people online, and one time I posted to Facebook, maybe 20 people hit it at once, and the entire server shut down. And so I would not suggest those cheaper hosts. This is Cloudways. It's the low end of what I use now. I have several different hosts that I use. It's for when I first start websites out. This is what I use because I can scale them quickly. And Cloudways, I should note, is not a host. It's a platform with several different hosts, so you can choose what you want. The more premium one that I use, that I wouldn't suggest for newcomers, oops, that's what I wanted, is WP Engine. They are faster, but also more expensive. you can look at, and they have servers all over the world, so it makes it so that your site loads similarly all over the place. But you'll see, when I click on pricing, there it is, starting at $29 per month. I pay this one $100 per month for a few of my sites. And yeah, so if you want to choose Word or WP Engine, you can, but they are more expensive, and I would suggest starting here. So now that I've described those three things that you need, let's just get right into it. The first thing that you need to do is set up your server. So if I'm using Cloudways, I'm going to sign up or log into the platform, and I'm already logged in, so I don't have to worry about it. It's going to bring you to this page right here, which is just your servers page. This is just my main server that I have. You're going to hit Add Server, select your application. Now this is one thing that I really like about Cloudways as a platform, is they automatically install different applications that you might need. Multi-site, don't worry about multi-site if you don't know what that is. You probably don't need it. If you do use multi-sites, you know how much of a pain they can be setting up, and so it's nice to have this option if you want it. If you know right away that you want to store, there's WooCommerce automatically installed, but for most of us, we're just going to install the plain vanilla version 4.8.3 of WordPress. I'm going to call this test app. Doesn't really matter what you call it, as long as you know what it is. Test server. If you don't already have a project, it will prompt you to create one. Now, I start with DigitalOcean. These are the different hosts. So you have Amazon Web Services, which is a pretty common one, Google Cloud Platform. These are all cloud server providers. And so the cheapest and in my opinion, best value is DigitalOcean. They have really good uptime. It's the cheapest. It's around the same price as Amazon Web Server, although Amazon Web Server they don't actually have the smaller options on this. They just have small instead of micro. Tit for tat, it's about the same price as Amazon Web Services, but you end up getting smaller size servers available, and so and I would say it's pretty good. One big benefit that you get with Cloudways as well with all these server providers is you can choose your location. You won't get this with like Bluehost or GoDaddy or anything like that. So I don't know exactly where all their servers are, but depending on where your server is, it's going to change the speed of your website for whoever's on the website. So if most of your customers are on the West Coast, you're going to choose San Francisco because that way it's going to load the fastest. It wouldn't make sense to put your server in China because then there's some lag time between those, and in a cheap, slow server, it's just made worse. Singapore and Asia, New York on the East Coast, Amsterdam and Frankfurt in Europe, Toronto, Bangalore in India, etc. And so I'm actually in London. My other server is in London. I'm not sure why that's unavailable. Maybe. No, okay. That's right. London. I'll choose Frankfurt because I do have a lot of clients and customers in Europe. So now I would suggest that you go with the 1 gig RAM server size. There is the 512, but as you can see right here, warning, plan is recommended for testing or staging environments. If you really want to start with the 512 megabyte RAM, you can, but it's going to slow down your site if you get a lot of people. It's not a big deal for people who are just starting out, but I suggest starting here. And the great thing about Cloudways is that you can just kind of like amp it up as you grow. And so depending on what kind of traffic you're getting, what kind of traffic you're expecting, you can keep moving it up. So I'm going to go with the 1 gig plan right here. We're in Frankfurt, we're DigitalOcean, we're version 4.8.3, WordPress, and we just launched. And now we're just going to wait. It's going to take about 7 minutes. And so no big deal, we'll just wait 7 minutes. This is probably a good time to mention, again, if you want me to do all this for you, it does get a bit technical. Osmosis Labs is doing it for free right now. There's no obligation to buy anything. It's just our way of giving back to the blogging community because they've been really good to us. We like making contact with bloggers and kind of just communicating with them, seeing how they're doing, that sort of thing. And so yeah, if you want us to do it, just follow the link down below. It'll have you fill out a form with just your email and name, and then we'll get into contact. Again, you don't need to buy anything. It's just something that we're giving away. Hey guys, we're back. The server is all set up, as is the application. So all we need to do is go into the applications, and when you first set up your server in your application, you're not going to see all of these. These are mine already. You see right here, we already have test app on test server. It's because that got installed as we were setting up the server. these are your application details. Basically, you just click on this URL, and look at that. This is your website. It's already there. Now, it's got a funky domain name, but we get to change that now. So, how do you change that? You're in your application, test app, test server, go to domain management, and we're going to create a primary domain name. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pick one that I don't really use, osmo.me. I only use this for email. I don't actually use it for anything. Right now it's set to this. This is an old video that I produced, so we'll go ahead and delete that. Primary domain, osmo.me. Save changes. It's going to take just a minute. So that took just a minute, but once we have the domain name right there, primary domain, we've saved changes, we can go into the access details, or excuse me, we need to go into the server details, test server, and this will give us all of the details for the server. What we're looking for is called the public IP address. And what we're going to do is change something called an A record. Now, don't worry, it is a bit technical. You don't have to know what that means, just have to know that this is what you do. You leave this blank. This is if you want to add www. whatever, if you want to add a subdomain or something like that. If you don't know what you're doing, just leave that blank. A record, that's what this is, 1 minute. That's the time to live, which means the time until it goes live. And then this is where you paste that domain, that IP address, excuse me. And this is something I really love about Cloudways. It's the little things. Click on this and it's already copied to your dashboard, so you don't even have to worry about that. Boom, copied, and paste. It's the little things that make a big difference with everything really. You go add. Now you don't have to do this, but I like adding the www. Just in case somebody is typing in my domain name, www.osmosislabs.com or www.osmo.me. So I go ahead and add the www. domain name as well. Hey Chica, it's okay. Now, what you want to do, if you do that, the www. Is you want to go into the same thing, domain management. Oh, my baby girl is tired. Add domain, and you're going to go www.osmo.me. Add domain. Actually, we're just going to want to save changes here. And this is going to take the same amount of time as the last one. We'll give that a few minutes to propagate. I'm going to go feed my daughter, and we will be back. So, now theoretically, that will be finished as soon as the time that you put in your TTL, your time to live, is over. But sometimes browser caches and stuff get in the way, so just give it a few minutes, maybe 5 to 10. But as soon as that's ready, you should be able to click on this and it will go straight to your new website, which is now osmo.me. It's no longer that long domain name. So the next thing that you want to do is install a theme, because this one doesn't look very good. And what you're going to do is go into wp-admin page. It's going to redirect you to this, and you have an admin panel. This right here, this is your application details, access details. Go into the username. That's it right there. Just click to copy, paste. It's just my email address, and click to copy. You don't have to look at the password. You just click to copy and paste. And that's it. Update password. So I changed the password from the last time I did this. So then to add a theme, this is the WordPress dashboard. This is where you're going to be creating your content, where you're going to be kind of designing your site, and that sort of thing. This is what it looks like. Now the first thing I would like to do is update to the latest version of WordPress. It looks like the 4.8.3 is outdated. Not by much, probably just by a few days. Update now. And then you go into, so this is how you're going to change your design. You go into Appearance and Themes. And you'll see these are all the themes that come out of stock with WordPress. Go ahead and add new. And we're going to upload a theme. Now I'm going to show you what we're going to upload. These themes right here are really good. They're called Divi and Extra. Divi is kind of a general purpose one that looks really good. Extra is more of a blogging theme, but there's a lot of overlap between them. So They're both really good. They're by Elegant Themes. They cost $89 a year, but all of my clients get one of them for free. They get to choose which one. So that's something to consider. They look really good. They auto-populate. Don't have to put that much effort into designing them the way that you want them. And creating the content is a lot easier because they have this built-in like section builder and all sorts of features. I'll go ahead and walk you through a few sites. This was built using Divi. And it looks really good. They have this kind of stuff is all built in. Best time to learn in English is now. As you can see, this is part of it right here. All of these fonts, the images, these are all different sections. You can create stuff like this, which will look fantastic. The next one, here's another site that uses it. See more. This kind of stuff is all built in. Looks great. In addition to the way that Divi looks, it's just really easy to use, and Google loves it as well because it's just really clean code. It's small, and in terms of a search engine optimization, you really can't beat it. So if you're looking through here, I mean, this is all, Divi features. So we're going to go ahead and go download it. I'm actually going to use Extra. Extra is part of Divi, but it's just designed more for blogs. So let's see. Now I should probably just go ahead and show you right here. This is Elegant Themes website. It does cost $89 per year. It's a subscription, or $249 for lifetime access, which is pretty good if this is where you decide to go. But again, Osmosis Labs clients will get one of them for free. It comes with your site. And that includes the people whose site I set up for free, as we mentioned earlier here. So log in. Go in and download Extra. And this is your theme, is what it's called, the WordPress theme. So we're going to go ahead and upload that. Activate. And this is what it looks like out of the box. Now, obviously it's not perfect. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these because they just come with the installation. You have your social media stuff. But the great thing about this is that it's really easy to change, to manipulate, and any beginner can do it. The first thing I'm going to do is those little sidebar widgets is what they're called. I'm going to delete them because they just come with the theme, or with the installation of WordPress. So I'm going to add in, just to give it some texture, I'm going to add a search bar. So call it search. Let's see, we can call it an about, like add some text. About me. Beautiful wife and baby. Ask me anything. And then what you're going to see is it's the old site. What you're going to see is that comes up right here. And now the first thing that I like to do is go delete the old posts. There are some posts that WordPress just comes with, posts and pages. So if we want to go ahead and now the website has no content. If we go ahead and steal my logo, Osmosis Labs logo, you can go into Extra, Theme Options, Upload, select, we'll go Save Changes, go into, actually I'm going to go into my blog here. We're going to create an About page. So the first thing that you'll notice is as soon as I refresh this, we're going to see the Osmosis Labs logo. That would look better in white, but it's okay. As you can see, it's already looking not too shabby, in my opinion. All you need all you really need is something that looks pretty decent, because the thing is, especially when you first start getting out, HTTPS. If we're being completely honest with each other, not very many people are going to go to your blog when you're first starting out. The most important thing is you have to create content. Let's see. HTTPS. Dada. So the most important thing that you really need to do is to create content. People will overlook bad design if all you're doing is creating content. So my suggestion to you is just do the basics to make it look presentable, and then focus on content. And so that's what I'm doing right here. Basically, I'm going to go ahead and put in a blog article. I'm just taking content from one of my other sites, but you obviously have to read your or write your own. So we go in here, we're going to add a new page. We're going to call it the About Me page. Divi Builder. This is the really great part of Extra and Divi, is this builder right here. It makes it so it has all these sorts of features that they separate out into sections, and it just makes everything easier. It's easily worth your $89 a month, excuse me. But again, you will get it for free if you just sign up for me. If you just sign up at Osmosis Labs to build out your blog. If you do that, this is absolutely free. So then you have your About Me page, and this populates automatically. This is one great thing about it. You can change that as well. It's not stuck there, but because of the fact that it happens automatically, it's really awesome. So I'm going to do the same thing. This is a blog post. I'm going to post the exact same content right here, and I'm even going to steal the featured image. So every blog post has a featured image. This is one of my favorite pictures. This is my wife and I in Positano when she was pregnant. We had a baby moon, is what she called it. So you're going to set your featured image here, and I'll show you exactly where that's going to go in a second. Set featured image. I'm going to make this a featured post as well. And what are we going to call it? Major milestones. Oops. Our 2017 journey. That's what I'll call it. Publish. And then what you're going to see is this populates automatically. This just comes up on the featured posts. You have, this will be your most popular post. This will be your top rated post. If you see these stars right here at the end of a blog post, a reader can, at the end of a blog post, a reader can rate it. So I'm going to give this one 5 stars. And then this will be all your top rated, all your most popular, and this will just be all your latest. And this will be anything that you put as a featured post. And so this is a really great way to just jumpstart your blog, get into the meat of it, to get really cracking on the most important part of making a blog. And again, Osmosis Labs will set this all up for free. All we need is your name and email address. We'll get into contact with you. And this only takes us a couple of minutes per person, while it could take, a brand new person to it, anywhere from, I don't know, half an hour to a few hours. So we're more than willing to do that, just in exchange of making contact with new bloggers. We want to give back to the community at the same time, make new connections. So yeah, if you want to do this yourself, just follow this guide. Hopefully you already have. If you want us to do it for you, we're more than willing. Just click on the link below and fill in your name and email address. And even if you want to do it yourself, still get into contact with us, because the thing is, we love making new connections. So if you really like this video, if you enjoyed it, even if you don't, if you already have a blog, or if you're not creating one, subscribe. I put out a lot of videos on different content. I'm focused more on interpersonal relationships and romantic relationships, because that's what we're known for. But I do have lots of different content that may, relate to you. But yeah, till next time.